Hello and welcome back to AIBC Summit YouTube channel. We're here to bring you news on all things blockchain and crypto, and today we're talking a Bitcoin initiative with a difference. And joining me to discuss this and more is Robert Sharratt, Managing Director of CrescoFin. So Robert, thanks so much for joining me today.
Yeah, Jessica, it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Absolutely, it's great to have a conversation with you as well. And today we are discussing this initiative that you are involved with in Switzerland, which is to add Bitcoin as the reserve currency. So I'd love for you just to give us a little bit of insight when it comes to what you're working on and why.
So Switzerland's a really fascinating country. And so it's the only country in the world that has an obligation in its constitution that the central bank hold gold as part of its monetary assets. So it's adopted its Article 99 officially of the Swiss Constitution. And, you know, the Swiss are common sense people. They know what happens when you print too much paper money. So they added gold essentially as a legal requirement for the bank to hold. And since the Swiss Constitution was put in place before Bitcoin was created by Satoshi, a bunch of us have decided to have an initiative. It's a voter initiative simply to add and Bitcoin together with gold.
And what's fascinating, you've got quite a good team of people that are pro-Bitcoiners like yourself that are working with you on this. And just off air, we were talking about the fact that I used to also work in Switzerland, and it was where I first came familiar with cryptocurrencies. So why do you think Switzerland is such a good place to really push forward this constitution change or addition, as it were?
Well, it's fascinating because you're starting from a good place. You're not starting from, other countries where you'd have to make an argument. Why would you put gold as part of the constitution, in terms of the central bank requirement to hold it for a monetary asset? Because the Swiss have already accepted it. So your argument then becomes, well, if you like gold, you're going to like Bitcoin even more. So, it's a really fascinating country, Jessica, because you don't have to be embarrassed about talking about Bitcoin. Like you see it in lots of places. Like you probably remember from living here that when you go over to Cornavin, to the railway station, there are Bitcoin machines that you can you can buy directly in public places. I mean, it's not, you don't have to be kind of embarrassed about it. So I think it's an interesting initiative. I mean, hopefully it'll make the monetary reserves of the country even stronger.
And also show the country as being a really forward-thinking as well when it comes to these kind of initiatives. If we look at the economics perspective, because there is this Swiss standard when it comes to financial services, Swiss banking is also known internationally around the world. So from an economics perspective, why would this initiative be beneficial, do you think?
Well, I think the biggest benefit is that it's a hard money asset. So it's like, Bitcoin is beneficial to everybody, whether it's an individual, whether it's a company having it for its treasury assets, or whether it's a country to protect its reserve. I mean, it protects the purchasing power of your assets, regardless of who you are. So, one of the nice things about Switzerland is that it's possible for citizens to undertake this initiative without it going through a political party. So that's what we're going to try and do. And, even if it fails, I think it engenders a really interesting debate.
Exactly, it brings up an interesting conversation, and I think a lot of this cryptocurrency drive to adoption is really just starting a conversation. And from that, if you can educate 3 out of 10 people that are willing to listen, well, then you've already made a fantastic start and a great difference. If we do look at the counter argument for what you're looking to implement here, is there any problems that could come from this? I know we look at supply of Bitcoin, and for example, the fact there is only 21 million in supply. Would that ever come into play as a counter problem that we could see from the initiative you're looking to implement?
Well, you don't want to be the last country to add it to your reserves. Most countries in the world hold gold as a reserve asset. There's nothing special about atomic element 79. It's just scarce. Bitcoin is so much better because it's like you say, it's got a fixed supply. So we want to. I think the Swiss could be persuaded that you want to be amongst the first to adopt this asset. I think there's a bigger risk that you want to adopt it down the road and it's not still trading at such a cheap price as it is today.
Mhm. And now, just finally, sort of final note, we did see, I think it was this week, billionaire investor Mike Novogratz saying to Bloomberg that Bitcoin's actually like digital gold and it won't be used in the same way as traditional currency for at least the next 5 years. And I would love to get your perception on the statement that we did see from Mike Novogratz. What was your take from it, and did you agree, or do you think it was almost optimistic in some way for the digital currency, or the opposite?
Well, I certainly would agree with Mike. I don't think you can be optimistic enough about Bitcoin. You know, when you look at the state of the world today, you look at the depreciation of like paper currencies. You know, it's also easy for somebody like, you know, me and Mike, kind of, as because we probably buy it for for investment reasons. But there's a human side to it too, though, Jessica. I mean, the most searched for countries, the countries that are searching for Bitcoin the most are places like in Nigeria or in South America. And they're doing that because they're looking as a way for, to preserve their wealth, like really for their livelihood. Sometimes it's to pay for things because of currency controls. And, like one of the things, for example, is we have a young woman who's our chief developer in the company. She does our coding and she lives in Belarus. And she's trying to get out, and we're trying to help her with a visa, but the Swiss embassy's closed there, and she has to get to Moscow, and the only way to get to Moscow is to pay a bribe to get out of the country. And the border guards don't take their local currency because it's garbage. So, but they take Bitcoin. So there, you can see it in some places that Bitcoin also serves a purpose in addition just to hodling it.
And that's actually, you've made a fantastic point. I think it's a really nice point to end on, that actually we do see these turmoil situations that are challenging for a lot of people. And actually it's only when people are faced with these situations where their traditional government system or financial system might have failed them or not acted in the way that you would expect, and that security element has been reduced. And that's really when people that are traditionally just trying to function day-to-day life and might be in a time of crisis really do see the benefit of a digital and decentralized asset such as Bitcoin.
I think that's really right. And one of the favorite people that I follow on Twitter is Alex Gladstein from the Human Rights Foundation, and he's a very poignant writer in terms of like how Bitcoin can like really make a difference fighting against totalitarian regimes. Because in the West, you might say, well, it helps hide what you're doing. I mean, it doesn't really very much. It's, cash does that, but Bitcoin doesn't. But, if you're in a totalitarian situation, I mean, Bitcoin's what you want to try and get away from government control of the money system. It's the thing I worry about the most with the concept behind central bank digital currencies, because that essentially puts an on-off switch on your cash. And one of the few solutions to that in a totalitarian state is Bitcoin.
Absolutely. Well, I've really enjoyed this conversation, and we'll have to make this a regular catch-up just to see the progress on how you're getting on with this institution that you're looking at moving forward with. Thank you so much for your time today, Robert. It was actually really a pleasure to catch up.
Great, Jessica. Nice to chat with you.
Fantastic. Well, that's all from myself and Robert, but we'd love to hear how you found this segment. Are you based in Europe and interested to hear more about the initiative? Are you living overseas and keen to invest yourself? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you.